Hello YouTube, Messenger and Bother here with another video, and of course, another video of a gameplay background of me playing Soul Calibur 6 with the character Ivy. Yes, the Ivy, infamous for being sexy and being, you know, the symbol, the female in Soul Calibur 6 series. Or should I say Soul Calibur series? But anyway, back to the main subject of the video. And ironically, it kind of relates to the character Ivy because the subject I want to talk about is essentially wealth. Now, throughout my YouTube channel, I talked a lot about women, relationship, etc., etc. But of course, it's not really the core thing of this YouTube channel. The core thing of this YouTube channel is basically me dropping bombs, messages for you guys, the listeners, and hopefully the wisdom could carry forward towards you. But more importantly, don't make the dumb mistakes that I did. I'm being dead serious right here. Don't make the dumb mistakes. The reason why YouTube and the whole commentary videos are getting very, very popular is because a lot of people they prefer to listen to personal stories, especially life-changing stories and stories where people admit to themselves that they made mistakes. And the reason why people prefer to hear that is because it is way better than watching the news. It is way better than reading reports about statistics, something like a third person or not a direct personal level, if that makes any sense. So, essentially, what I'm trying to say here is that people prefer to listen stories from another person on a personal level, and YouTube kind of helps to bring that story into the public. But anyway, what I want to discuss in this video, because I'm getting off the rail, is the subject of wealth. Now, as I grow older and I'm no longer a young guy anymore, it becomes more and more obvious to me that if you want to have a comfortable life, you have to accumulate a certain amount of wealth. And if you want to have quote unquote a secure future, you also need to secure a vast amount of wealth. I hope you guys understand where I'm going with this because a lot of people they like to believe that the old system still works, and for a moment it did. And when I say old system, I'm talking about how people life, especially in Western countries, are supposed to be go to school, do some stuff at school, get some experience at school, such as relationship, side job, etc., etc. Me personally, I did that, and then of course the belief is once you finish school, you should have your own place, you should have your own stuff, and then live your own life and live how you see fit. The problem is that's not working anymore. The problem is we're seeing stories after stories, especially personal stories now that I talked about YouTube, about college graduates, people with degrees are not making it. As a matter of fact, they're struggling and they find themselves stuck in the loophole of encroaching debt, which, by the way, debt is something that I believe a lot of people are suffering, including myself. I'll admit, guys, I'm suffering in debt too, but luckily I'm slowly recovering. But the problem is, I need to do better in order to be more financially stable. But I am in that situation. I am in debt as well. The problem is, majority of Americans, and I would say certain level of Westerners, because I'm not sure how things are in other countries. All I could speak of is in America. I could definitely see a lot of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, and due to the homeless crisis, things are getting more scarier out there in terms of stability. And the saddest part is, all people really want, like all people, the majority of us, what we people sincerely want is a level of comfort. We don't want to struggle. We don't want to do more than we could chew, if that makes any sense. And all we just want is something stability and comfort. And if it means to do a job that requires 8 hours of work 5 days a week, then so be it. We are willing to put the work for it. The problem is nowadays having a simple one job is not enough. I remember one time when I was going out getting my coffee, and there was this coffee place I really enjoy. Like, I'm addicted to coffee. One time when I was getting my coffee, I overheard the barista talking about her personal life. And what I overheard kind of shocked me, to be honest with you. This barista lady, she was definitely in her 20s, definitely in her 20s. And what I overheard is that she still goes to college, but she had to skip a semester in order to financially prepare herself. And what I overheard was kind of shocking. She literally said out loud that she works 3 jobs over the course of the skip semester that she decided to, skip out on in order to financially save up money and go back to school and finish it once and for all. And when I overheard that she had 3 jobs, to me that was baffling. And she still lived with her parents, with her relatives. But that was baffling when I overheard that. And me personally, I could relate to that because I clearly remember my days when I went to college. I had multiple jobs as well. As a matter of fact, during the summertime, I remember I ended up having 3 jobs, and I managed to save up enough money to get a car. But the car that I had wasn't brand new. It was like old, used up. It was like almost 2 decades old. But it was worth it in the end because I really needed a car to get places. And after the summer, I quit one of my jobs and went back to college. Nowadays, I'm comfortable where I'm at, especially with this singular job that I have, and it's enough to finance, my living standards. But I gotta do better. Why? Because I care about the stability and the comfort that I'm in. And the only thing I have to do on my end is put in the work with it. I have to put in the work. I have to study some of the materials that my job requires me to study. And of course, I'm willing to go back to school just to get some piece of paper to show that, hey, I'm not a complete idiot. I'm not completely stupid. Which I have a feeling that's the main reason why a lot of. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm having a weird issue here. I have a feeling that's the main reason why a lot of jobs, they're kind of like requiring bachelors and diplomas just to see you're not a complete idiot. One time I saw in the news that a woman faked her credentials to become a nurse, and she was working at a hospital almost, I think it was 5 years, 5 or 6 years, I can't remember, but I will try my best to look it up. I'll look it up and put a link down in the description below and in the comment section below. But this was very baffling, but at the same time, it got a lot of people discussing whether or not, hey, is it necessary to go to school in order to make a good living? Because if a woman who faked her credentials, who was not really a registered nurse, is able to do nursing stuff, is able to cure people and help people, then why bother, going to school for a piece of paper? Because at the end of the day, guys, your standard of living is equate to how much money you make. And this is why a lot of quote unquote rich people, some of them they do have degrees, but the others they don't, and sometimes they brag about it. You want to know a good example? Look at the infamous Bill Gates. Bill Gates went to college, but he dropped out of college, and he's like a multi-billionaire. He may be smart, but he keep in mind he dropped out of college. And a lot of people like to defend that, hey, he must have made his, connections in college. But a lot of people were questioning about that because Bill Gates was already in a wealthy family. Which, if you do a little research, he really was in a wealthy family. So yeah, guys, the question of schooling, the question of going to school in order to get a job is actually worth it. That see, all these are questionable because at the end of the day, it didn't matter what you went through in order to get a diploma. What matters is the connection and what job you end up landing in order to get money. Because again, money is what equates your standard of living. If you manage to make a business, if you manage to buy a bunch of stocks and get some dividends, in other words, passive income, you're all set. Wealth is the equation of your standard of your living. Wealth that really does affect your personal life. And if you guys remember what I said in the beginning of this video, this character, Ivy, she came from a wealthy family. That's why she is dressed up purple and a little sexy, and yeah. But the reason why I pointed that out is because yes, wealth does accumulate, and wealth also affects your looks. Your looks, how people sees you in terms of mating partner, etc., etc. Wealth really does affect you a lot more than you think. Me personally, I was about to get a upper jaw surgery thanks to this job that I have, and once again, wealth really does affect you on a personal level. So keep that in mind, guys. I will make another follow-up video about discussing about wealth, but yeah, wealth really does affect you. And this is something that a lot of people dislike discussing about because it's quote unquote taboo, just like how looks matter. Like looks really does matter. So is wealth. Wealth really does matter. Well guys, I'm gonna end it here because I feel like I ranted enough and right now I'm just scrambling whatever my brain is wants to say. But guys, message in the bottle, over and out, and I hope you enjoyed the background gameplay. Goodbye guys.